regular, normal strings, that they were all stiff. And with that, I'm listening to a lot of blues records, and I know I'm hearing a lot of slides and, you know, bends, and my guitar wouldn't do that. And I said, there's got to be a way to make this work. So I experimented with banjo strings. I put a set of banjo strings on my guitar, and the first, second, third, and fourth was cool. But you know, the banjo strings don't have that little ball in the back that goes through the back of the guitar. So I had to cut off the ball on the other string, put it in there, and run it through, and wind it up. And for the fifth string, I used a regular D string, guitar string, and an A string for the E. And it was a perfect match. And I noticed my third string was unwound. Wow, that's a different sound, man. Real twangy. And you know, that worked for me. And I could bend the strings all over the guitar, man. It was great, 3 or 4 at a time. And it was so cool. And that sound that I got on the early Ricky records, a little out of phase sound, on my guitar, I could go between the middle position and the lead pickup, and it sounded strange to me. I said, wow, that's so cool, man, but I didn't have a lot of volume. And it was like if you pick up a Strat, you got 5-way switch, you got 2 out of phase switches. But I could get that on my Telecaster, and that was before the Strat came out. And I said, wait a minute here, what is this? And I recorded some of the Ricky Nelson records with that sound, Traveling Man, and some of the other tunes. And boy, it was a good sound. And then all of a sudden, when the Strat came out, they had the out of phase sound. I said, that's the same sound I had on my guitar back in the 50s. And but the banjo strings worked for me. It was so cool. And a friend of mine, Ernie Ball, in L.A., he had a music store in Tarzana. And he called me up. He said, hey, man, I like the sound you're getting on your guitar. Would you come out to you and Ricky Nelson come out to my shop, and I want to check it out. Bring your guitar. I took it out there, and he checked it. He said, oh, unwound third. God, these things are loose. Got loose strings. I said, yeah, man. And I plugged it in, played it for him. He said, oh, man, that's cool. And so he got the idea to gauge different strings by numbers. So we gauged my strings, and my string came out with a 9, 10, 12, 24, 32, 38. And but I went up to a 40 recently on the top string, but that's a great gauge. And I'm not sure that works on all guitars. Guitars with big frets, because they use a little stiffer string on this guitar with the big frets. And a lot of guys that play rock and roll like to have the big frets because they use real heavy strings. They use stiffer strings. They play hard, you know, and so they like the big frets. For playing country music, jazz, and blues, and these medium frets are perfect. And I like a low action. If you're playing blues, you want a little higher action because you don't want to get into another string when you're bending, and you like the action a little higher. That's a little high. That's pretty good there for blues. I don't. Those strings are a little stiffer, but the same as